I mentioned in an earlier video that I missed when Honda were cool. Well, here's another example of a cool Honda. The NSX, the original NSX, the one from the 1990s, that ran all the way through to 2005. This particular example having been modified by Okay, apparently this particular Rocket Bunny appears to have some sort of balance issue. Rocket Unstable Bunny. I'll make a pun out of that one day. Anyway, so yes, Rocket Bunny Honda NSX. I love the Honda NSX. It's such a great supercar. It's what happens when Honda sticks a middle finger up at all of its normal stuff. You know, base Civic, base Integra, not base Integra, base Accord, etc. And makes a supercar. And, well, as it turns out, they didn't do a particularly good job. Because when Ayrton Senna drove it, he didn't like it very much. So, Honda did the unthinkable. They listened to him. Yes, that's right, a multi-million pound company who must always be right about everything actually listened to someone. But it's quite impressive, actually. And yes, Ayrton helped with the handling and chassis and brakes and stuff of this car. Nice job on doing away with all of that, Rocket Bunny. Good job. Fuck you. But yeah, seriously, I do love the NSX. 3 litre V6, sometimes 3.2. I think there may have been a 3.5. Or maybe that was just a modified one. I don't know. There was so many different versions. There was the NSX, the NSX 3.2, the NSX Type R, the NSX-R, the NSX-T. Seriously, so many versions. And then, of course, loads of different modified ones as well. I do not get why people modify these things, because they are so beautiful as normal. Genuinely, such a great looking car. And then people do away with them. Oh yeah, did I mention... Wait. Oh, there we go. Pop-up headlights. Nice. Best thing in the world, pop-up headlights. Love a pop-up headlight. I think, however, it's the story of the successor to the NSX, which is where things get really interesting. See, when you make a car as iconic and as beloved as the NSX, it's hard to follow up on that. So, I believe it was announced in 2007 that there would be one... it was announced when the car was put off sale that there would be a successor in 2007, which then got pushed back to 2009. But there are some prototypes around of the NSX. Like, not the original NSX, although there are prototypes of the original NSX. Here's one. But the 2011 NSX. It's weird because it looks kind of like a cross between a Mazda RX-8 and a Honda S2000. It doesn't really look particularly NSX-y. I've just realised that sounds like sexy. Oh god. Anyway, point still stands. Which is why Honda announced they weren't going to make it. Which left the automotive community deeply saddened when in 2011 Honda announced it was done for. Which is why the automotive community were even happier when Honda announced in 2015, here's the new NSX. It was wonderful. And yes, the new NSX is still on sale today. I quite like it. I feel like a lot of people have forgotten about it though, which is quite saddening. I suppose it's because you get so many supercars nowadays. So many. There's like one every other week, if that. That you just... nothing really can stand out from the crowd, I suppose. That's why people modify their cars, to stand out. But the problem is, this NSX didn't need to stand out. I do not understand modified cars, and I never will. Speed first, obviously, is... well, it's interesting. It's a quick car. There is no doubt about that. 230 miles an hour is nothing to be snuffed at, considering the fact that 90% of other cars in the game can't even keep up with it, even when tuned. But I think the problem for me is it doesn't feel safe at high speed. Like, this thing is twitchy and unpredictable at high speed. Like, you get all that lovely revs, nice power, and it climbs. It's really good, and then you try and correct it. And there's not enough steering. Oh, and it does that. It's got big suspension problems. So, yeah, that needs to be fixed, actually. Oh, and here comes the handling segment, which is where I complain even more about suspension. Surprisingly enough, I'm not going to complain about the suspension. Because while you're actually going through twisty roads like this, suspension is really not much of a problem. It's only when you're doing minor correction where you're like, whoa, it's big and slippery. What I will complain about, however, is just how bad the steering is. Sure, you can feel it, but you can just feel endless understeer. Oh, and the chassis is bouncy. You know, type of the suspension, you're just jumping all over the road like a cat on a hot plate. It's petrifying. It's so unpredictable, this car. You don't know whether it's going to bounce, whether it's going to understeer, whether it's going to try and skid. It's horrible. This is basically proof why I don't like modified cars. Yes, I'm using a fictional example. Shut up. In CDT, the base NSX is wonderful. I love it. But then this Rocket Bunny one, terrible. Because they've cocked up the handling, and something tells me that this is absolutely what it would be like in real life. Genuinely, please, you know, I thought when we were going to get a Japanese season, I thought we'd get nice cars, like, you know, Toyota 2000 GT, the base Datsun 240Z. Nope, it's all modified dross. Even if the S2000 the other day was pretty nice. Here we go. And there you see, that's a good drift, because I feel like this thing, just like the car we had on yesterday, was designed from the start to be a drift car without all the bad bits of the drift car. A sort of road drift car hybrid, which fails massively on the road car bit, but pretty much succeeds in the drift car bit. Which is, well, I'm not sure how I think about that. It's like, I don't know, actually. I genuinely don't know how I feel about this thing. I just wish that in road car terms it was actually good. As good as it is as a drift car, because this, drifting, this is how you get the most out of that chassis. And believe me when I say this, this is definitely a drift car chassis. Or at least it's been modified that way. Suspension feels good, it's well balanced, back steps out nice and easy, and of course you get power out the corners really well. I just wish it was better on the road. Such a shame. What I'm wondering is, will I flip it on this circuit attempt? Possibly. Will it be funny? Definitely. Will this lap in general be funny? Oh yes. Unfortunately, I'm the poor bugger that has to actually do the lap. Pity me. No, actually don't. Enjoy this, because just know that I'm not. Here we go. Nice. There's that annoying understeer. Already a few seconds behind some of the cars I've been reviewing recently. Did you see the back try and step out then? Yep. Really good. Brake. Nice. Keep it close to the apex. And now with all... We keep doing all these annoying little Oh, there we go. The back's trying to step out again. And with all these annoying little corrections we have to keep making, the suspension is twitching around annoyingly. So we end up with a 44-second dead time. Dead being the operative term here, because this car is killing me inside. So it's all come down to this. What the fuck? Okay, that was weird. Anyway, so it's all come down to this. Should you pay Robux for the season pass if you didn't have one already? Well, the 350Z, whatever it was, wasn't worth it. And I don't think this is either. What the f... Okay, it's very glitchy this as well. Doesn't help. But still, this thing, not worth it. Season pass, not worth it. Unless you're a drift fan, in which case, knock yourself out. So, if you're a normal person, however, don't bother with the season pass. Thank you all for watching, and on that terrible disappointment for apparently you lot, I will see you all tomorrow with some dealership Tycoon videos. Nice. Oh,